There's something even more painful than outright coldness in this world: emotional indifference. Emotional indifference is when someone completely ignores your need for closeness. They seem cold and detached, as if being in an intimate relationship is optional. Fine if it happens, fine if it doesn't. They don't express their feelings, don't show love, and keep everything at a safe distance. When problems arise, they avoid them instead of addressing them. You might find yourself wondering, do they even need love? Why are they with you if it feels like they're making you suffer? But just when you're ready to leave, they'll gently pull you back. You sense they do need you, but something still feels off. Today, I want to dive into this dynamic and discuss the avoidant attachment personality, people who have love in their hearts but struggle to form emotional connections. What are avoidant attachment types? Avoiding? For people with avoidant attachment, what they're truly avoiding is vulnerability. Purely avoidant personalities tend to dodge challenges. They get anxious when faced with them and prefer to avoid confrontation altogether. But avoidant attachment isn't a personality flaw. It's more like an independent attachment style. What they're avoiding is letting others into their inner world. At the root of it all is a loss of trust. Childhood, the foundation of avoidance. 2. Understand avoidant attachment. Let's start with childhood. Picture a kindergarten at the end of the day. Parents are arriving to pick up their kids. When the mother of an avoidant child shows up, the child acts like nothing happened. They don't run to her or show excitement. Even as they walk together, the child appears distant, avoiding any display of deep attachment. This behavior often stems from their family of origin. Avoidant parents tend to be cold, neglectful, controlling, or overly strict. For example, a father might use shame as a tool to control his child, saying things like, "Why are you crying? There's nothing to cry about." In these homes, children aren't allowed to challenge authority. If they show emotions like anger or anxiety, they're ignored or harshly suppressed. Now, imagine a child expressing sadness or frustration, only to be met with indifference or blame. Over time, the child learns that being vulnerable is unsafe and even shameful. To survive, they compartmentalize their emotions, keeping their inner world hidden. This creates an attachment disorder, an avoidance of emotional connections to shield themselves from pain. How this plays out in adulthood when they grow up, avoidant types carry this survival strategy into their relationships. They crave closeness, but fear it at the same time. Internally, they're like a child who never fully grew up. They use the shield of "I don't need this" to protect themselves. Deep down, they're afraid that if they get too close, they'll lose themselves. Behind this fear is often a sense of inferiority and a belief that they're unworthy of love. Take this example. Someone with avoidant tendencies feels deeply moved by their partner's kindness. They start to feel like they can't live without them. But instead of leaning into the relationship, they begin to pull away. They think to themselves, "How did I let myself get here? This is dangerous. I don't need this kind of love." The C, push and pull dynamic. So, do avoidant types need love? Absolutely. In fact, they crave it more than most people. But here's the problem. When they realize someone they like feels the same way about them, they panic. They instinctively want to escape, turn cold, or even convince themselves they don't like the person anymore. Why? Because if they don't let themselves get too close, they won't have to deal with the pain of losing them. For avoidant types, true intimacy feels risky. It requires vulnerability and opens the door to possible betrayal. To avoid this, they subconsciously maintain a safe distance in their relationships. They won't say, "I love you." They'll avoid physical affection, and they'll reject emotional closeness. On the outside, it might seem like they don't care about intimacy, that they're free-spirited and independent. But in reality, they're more afraid of separation than most people. They suppress their needs to protect themselves, and over time, they lose touch with their own emotions and fail to notice their partner's emotional needs. This lack of empathy often leaves their partners feeling hurt and disconnected. Emotional cycles and distance. When a partner feels neglected and starts to pull away, it reinforces the avoidant person's belief. No one can respond to my emotions. I'll always lose people. This creates a repeating cycle where they become even more avoidant. It's not that they don't want to love, it's that they don't know how. They're terrified of being vulnerable, so they block out emotions altogether. To others, they seem cold and indifferent, but internally they're conflicted, wanting love, yet fearing it at the same time. The hidden warmth, if you look closely. Avoidant types are like high-tech robots, cold and efficient on the outside, but with a small, warm light glowing inside. They want love, but fear being loved. They want recognition, but dread attention. They want affection, but fear getting too close. In short, they're complicated. Interestingly, avoidant types often channel their energy into work or hobbies, becoming highly focused and successful. Their achievements give them a sense of security and reinforce their belief that they don't need others. They thrive in structured, formal relationships like those at work, but these can't replace the emotional connection of intimate relationships. Learning to love for avoidant types, learning how to love and build meaningful relationships is one of life's greatest challenges. As Elie Wiesel once said, the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. If you're in a relationship with an avoidant person, don't be discouraged. They're not cold-hearted or unfeeling. They're just scared. They've spent so long protecting themselves that they've forgotten how to let someone love them.